Hello, this is the 65th lecture of the Semantic SEO course. In this lecture, we will try to understand the contextual bridges that we are using and its harmony with the contextual vector that we are using at the same time. First of all, if you realize that specific type of anchor texts that we are using, they have certain types of annotation text that are appearing around the anchor text. Plus, they always appear inside the specific query networks or other connected query networks. And at the same time, we try to use them at least once before the specific link. For instance, if you look at the specific word, let's say the test, of course, it will be appearing inside our H2, or let's say heading in this case. But at the same time, we are able to use we are able to insert that specific predicate with some other words in this area as well. If you look at the alkaline water and the acidic water in this area that we are using in this section, we are talking about actually what are the harms of the high pH drinking water and the low pH drinking water. The thing is that low pH drinking water and the high pH drinking water, these are conditional synonyms for these two specific things because these are representatives of these specific two classes. That's why we are using them in this area, and it means that if you create these content briefs at somewhere in your H1 or your, let's say, macro context area, you will need to mention their pH levels directly in a consistent way in this article. If here you tell that it is, let's say, 4, in the article that you created here, if you tell that it's 5, it means that it is inconsistent. It will be causing you to actually lose the quality and the responsiveness scores in terms of the information that you are actually creating. Whenever you create these things, always understand one thing. The methodology here that we use, it is actually called data to website. We create a kind of data set here to construct an information graph, and the information graph that we are creating in the form of visuals and the text or different types of structured data, they are turning themselves into a website. And in this case, if this data is inconsistent, it means that the website will be conflicting with itself. And it is a really dangerous thing when it comes to the semantics. So that's why we are linking these specific pages in the context of harms and the benefits or the risks together with the pH, which means that in the next article's specific macro context area, you will need to focus on this. Then we talk about actually the, let's say, harms of the low pH drinking water, and at the same time from there we go to the lowering the pH. It is also appearing inside our query network. And ways of testing pH and lowering pH, these are connected to each other. Since every type of water has different types of, let's say, benefits and also the pH levels, and since the pH and the benefits are connected to each other, from this H2 we directly link to the types of water. Then we give all the types in this area which are represented in this section one more time. As you see here, we actually use a list definition and listing. Directly we give these specific listing in this area. Then inside the list outro we explain their uses briefly and give the importance of pH for them. In this case, importance of pH for the drinking water has been expanded further after we give all the types of water to the individual types. We give the importance of pH for every individual type of water in this area. We ask this question, is tap water safe to drink, directly in this part. And the purpose here is that since our contextual vector is a little bit dense, I am trying to use less internal links. If the content brief will be actually very much more detailed, I will be able to add more internal links here. But since we have budget and the timing issues, I needed a brief that is able to rank against this one and helps me to be classified with Healthline, and at the same time being able to transfer further relevance and authority to my source and also to the other pages that we created in our semantic content network. And if you look at here, the word safe has been mentioned in this area too, the safe pH ranges. It is mentioned with drinking water, and in this case we actually ask it one more time for the tap water in this context. Once we dive into this part, we directly link to the sparkling and luxury water. As I said, this is for connecting every topic here back to our specific source context. And sparkling water has been used because it's highly popular, let's say, type of water, and it is connected to the drinking water in a direct way as an alternate, and they're always being compared to each other. So all these red ones, since we didn't process them directly, and since processing them will be taking time too, To not lose the relevance, I included their definitions in this area, because if you want to rank for pH of the water, benefit of water, quality of the water, and if you know that processing these things will be taking time, include the definitions of all these nouns directly in this specific content. Once you create this one and link these pages from this specific page, it will be increasing your relevance and overall ranking possibility even further. If you're able to define the same noun site-wide repeatedly by always connecting it to the specifically targeted query network and the context vectors and the contextual domains, it will be helpful for you to increasing your overall relevance as well. Lucky we are, right now we have generative AI, and it means whenever you give it a feedback or a text, it will be taking the text context and it will be turning it to the something else. But you should understand that more text doesn't mean always a better context. Always focus on context and the context connections first, and from there connect everything back to the query semantics before lexical semantics. And from there you will be able to understand actually the proper order of these links. Since all these things are here, they are red, it was easier for me to actually link to these two in a direct way as well. Okay, so now we will see the articles from these specific content briefs, and since these articles are already on the web and they are ranking, it will be easier for you to understand the kitchen side and the output and how it will be reacting to this specific type of quality updates at the same time. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.